skill part, if we talk about, the only word that I had to take out from this, because in the word cloud, what came prominently, the biggest font was the word called and. That means it's not one skill which will take us further, but it's a combination of many skills. But that deliberation had always been there in when we were a child to the college to the kind of an initial part of a career to now. Should we specialize on one skill, or kind of we need more than one? So what are the things, what are the pattern that come out? Something that I had also reflected in the earlier part. One, very clearly, a respect for human, working with human. And that can, in words, it is reflected in various ways from all the respondents, from all the input that we got from the leaders. Somebody said whether it's change management or empathy, or somebody said virtually, somebody said that a simple call sometimes brings the difference by just saying, how are you? Not heard from you. Is everything okay? The meeting is canceled because there is no specific agenda, but a simple 2 minute of a connect, just asking, do you need me anywhere? Right? Can I help you in any way? A servant leadership, or whatever form you can call it. There can be many way it has been defined. But the larger context is the respect for a human, this respect for somebody who is working along. And that's required much more than any time before, because the things are virtual. Everybody is in the similar kind of a boundary which they are seeing day in day out, and they need a human touch. They need a hand they need a helping hand, like who stand with them without a kind of a sense of superiority. I think somebody said, it was it Anurag or someone like who said that people do not really appreciate a superiority or an attitude that I'm the boss. Because at this moment they don't need it. They have their job description defined, the transactions are listed right there, everybody knows what to do. That's why they are in the role. But they need a helping hand, they need a support. During the pandemic also, there was a message which was released and which was kind of a communicated, right, which said sujhav nahi, kind of, or to say in English, right, said that do not give suggestions, offer support. If you can do, like if somebody is not well, and if you call up and say, okay, are you taking this medicine, have you started the antibiotic, are you measuring your temperature? So he's already fed up with all of this, right? What they need is a support, right, a helping hand in terms of saying, what can I do for you? And that's what helps in a corporate world. So working with the human. Now I also said some time back, I don't know. See, so why, and that plays very well here, because if I just label it and say that this is the skill, then I would label it from a pre-pandemic skill for which the programs are designed and everything is there. That means there is a clarity. The answer is no. The answer is we still need to discover what would it look like, and how would that be built. What is a mix of an empathy or a change versus a newer supervisory skill to a new say team management skill, right? Or a team member behavior, right? What is that? We don't know. And what does that bundle would look like? Is it the same bundle? Is it a different bundle? But something common in that skill which will get more appreciated than anything else is that he can work well with the humans. And then it goes along to a skill called creators, that are very few creators which are required, who would build, who would not only generate ideas and even the design. It may not be even limited to a design thinking, but it is much more than that. The essence is a creator who would bring in newer innovations, newer technologies, but they're going to be very niche, or very few of them that who will bring in the new system. but the mass is going to be the followers, are going to be the users of those technology or a system or a process or any product or service which get created. And that mass, the skill that that mass require is an ability to quickly grasp and use that on a self-help mode. I was taking example, the websites, you don't need the developers. The technologies, to establish a complete end-to-end technology frame to run an organization, there are many. There are many platforms which has come up, the new age platforms which are there. You just need to log in and you have the best of technologies which are available to you. So you need a skill that's where the creators come, the support of a creator to build those and help you evaluate. But the masses is to be able to adopt, and that adoption would require some amount of a skill to understand what it is on a self-help mode. The platforms has to be simple, but the skill is to get into that simplified platform, grasp, understand that what it takes to use it, and then start with it. To give an example, when I started in my entrepreneurship journey some 5 years ago, I needed technology, and I had a choice to go with it or not to go with it. I tried using some specialized services to build a website, to build a kind of the books for me, the finance, the entire finance modules and kind of thing. But then I realized now this is not what I love. If there's a dependency, this is not what the new age the startups are going to love it. Because if you want to change in a schedule and you want to go to a website, most of you would have seen the masterstransformation.com, fgnc.co.in, the websites that you see, and all of it is built by me. And it doesn't take time. It was in a fraction of seconds. Any change that requires a fraction of second. Now, whatever platform, I don't want to promote the platform here, but what I'm saying is anything that I want to do today, there is no dependency. My team member who joins us, who onboard us, right, in a span of 1 day, they become master on whether it's a CRM, whether it's the books, or whether it is about anything, any way of working that it is. That's what the new age, new era of whether it's an employee, entrepreneur, startups, that's what they need. And the skill that is required is a self-use ability. And so again, I'm not putting a bucket around it. The insight that we got from you, plus the experience that we are just putting that together. And then there are a lot of platforms that we're talking about, the skills on AI, ML, RPA, IoT, right? The many things which are coming in. But there are two perspectives to all of them. One is a designer or a technical perspective. A second is the user perspective, how well you are able to, right? Putting up a chatbot does not require much of a skill. But yes, there has to be creator and the skill of a creator who is working on a background, plus a skill of a user or a process owner who has to deploy it. The skill of a process owner deployment is what the masses require. And that's a skill, right? Then there is another phenomena which we always talk about, we call a black box handling. Now, what is a black box? I give you an example of a black box. I was trying to renew one of my insurance policy, and it was an online process. I went online, I punched in my policy number and said renew. It detailed me the cost. I said okay, pay. And then it said to authenticate, I need an OTP. I said OTP, okay. I waited for an OTP for an hour, and again attempted next day, not happening. Call up the executive, said I'm not able to renew my policy because OTP is not coming in. And I have a very simple question to you. The OTP goes to the profile, the mobile number which is stored in the profile, which was a few years ago when I bought the policy, or the OTP is going to the number that I'm filling now. They said, sir, let me come back to you. And it took more than a month for them to discover the answer to it and renew my policy. I call it as a black box. which didn't exist, because the process somewhere is coded, and in that coding, whether the documentation or whatsoever aspect, or the intelligence for a user is not been taken care, right? And it becomes a black box. All of us handle with the black box phenomena in our processes day in, day out, and this black box phenomena is only going to amplify. It is only going to increase, right? Because if the care is not taken now, the tomorrow the user is going to struggle, because they don't know what's happening in the background. The data science, intelligence, lean thinking, so skills, those skills continue, but the newer skills that we are talking about is an ability to manage human and an ability to manage technology, right? And a few specialized people would need the creator thinking, the creator skills, and then the analytical ability by everybody, because the complexity in the system is only going to increase as we move forward. While there are going to be features, facilities available, but the complexity is something which is going to increase. The second aspect was from work from home, where we said from an office setup to somebody even reflected to an extreme, saying that no real estate to no human asset. I don't know whether we want to or will reach there, but a small office is the reality that definitely that we see, and we're moving toward it. And it is about, so to start with, 88% of the respondents did say that work from home is going to stay there, but there are 12% who says that in fact somebody reflected in the panel also in yesterday in value creation, said no, the work from home is not going to stay, because moment we open up, you can see the crowd on the street. The moment we open up, I would want to look at the faces and meet and talk to the people, rather than being on the Zoom or the alternate video conferencing tool, right? So there is a set of people who do not feel comfortable working on that, but there is a set of people that who think this is what is going to give the scale. This is the way of working, right? There are people who are staying in 7 people in a room. There are people that who are staying in the villas, right? So both will have a different adaptability, and the systems need to take care of everyone. So is the policies, how they are defined for the various profile of a people. Now the profile of an employee does not get limited to their skill. The profile of an employee now also mean where does he or she come from, what is the social strata, like what kind of whether he really like to work from home, whether he would like to work in an office, whether he has a facility to work from home. So the profile of the employee is going to be very different and broad than what it had been. And according to that is the policy, that what facilities, what flexibility that need to be given to the people. The roles where we talk about the gig economy, we're talking about global working, that like India had seen the boom earlier because of cost arbitrage. There are lot many roles got created, lot many organizations got created over here, which was just a transition from the work which was happening somewhere else. And same is when the gig economy that's going to broaden. So today I again, one incident I want to talk about with what will open up. I had just started my career into consulting, and Anurag gave a good term yesterday. What he said was that there are three. One is emerging giggers, professional giggers, and the second life giggers. And the very interesting perspective, right? Because when I choose to be a professional gigger, all around me, the relatives and kind of a thing said, oh my God, what are you doing? This role or a consulting is supposed to be the second life gigger. This is the time for you to earn that salary and have a secure life, right? Why do you go? Why do you want to start up your own organization and want to do something on your own? There was a kind of, because historically you see that you say the government job is the best, because there is job security. Then the people start accepting the private roles, and now there's a third phase where the giggers coming in, and they're going to be resistance from the families, right? But there are also the personal aspirations, and we say sometimes the midlife crisis, because anybody who's a plus 40, and if they are on the call and if we have spoken, then you would have told me, Praveen, I also want to be a gigger. That's the reality of life. So a personal aspiration and a sense of a security, but now the things are opening up. And the example that I was to share, I went to an office. I had kind of just thought of starting on my own. I was on the notice period last few days, and like next month I'm going to cut the ribbon, and it's already announced. So a director of a company, the CEO of the company invites me and another company and say, Praveen, we have a role and an excellent role, global role with the fat salary and everything, right? Why don't you come and join here? I said, no, I've already decided that, okay, I want to walk this path. But he insisted. Then when you are very clear, then you do not have a risk, right? And with due respect to him, I asked him, sir, as a director, how many days or how many hours in the day or how many days in a month you play the role of a director? He was in a mood to interview me, evaluate me, offer me, right? And then immediately I throw up a question, and then he thought, oh my God, what is this? He sat backward, relaxed, smiled, and then said, valid question, Praveen, maybe 30%. And I said, if it is 30%, and that means you're appointing me as an into a role where 30% I'm going to play that role. Rest 70% I'm going to operate 2 level down, because that's the fact. Even another research of our tells us, right? People are working at least 1 to 2 level below the positions that they hold. But he said, you are perfectly right. I said, I will come 30% of the time to the office, and 70% time I can hire somebody much junior and then let him or her play the role. But the acceptance at that point of time the gig was not something which is that prevalent, and not now also. So I think it's still picking up. A lot has changed in pandemic, but the things will open up again. So there was some amount of reservation. It said, no, I want person to be on the roll. So the things are opening up. And that's what, as a global trend also, Anurag had shared, and a lot of leaders have shared about it. The roles are opening up, very different roles are opening up. And it was a very bold statement which Anurag said, that most of us are going to be the part of this gig economy. Either we're going to be hiring, or we are on the other side, that we would be a freelancer and supporting somebody. I spoke to somebody, I don't know if he or she is on the call today, but he said, Praveen, I have moved on to my village, and in that village, just before pandemic, I bought a land which was costing 6 lakh rupees at that point of a time. And pandemic, and after the pandemic has happened, the cost of that land is now 40 lakh rupees. And I'm just thinking why I did not buy 3 times the land which I had purchased earlier. So the rural economy is growing, because there is a clarity that people have. There's a report which was published where said people refuse to come back to office. They are happy to resign but not come back to office. But at the same time, we have spoken about the scenario that where people say that I want to come to office. So not one will fit will fit everyone, right? So work from home, the policy need to take care of lot many scenarios that's happening around. There's diversity and inclusion. Back to work cadre is only increasing. The people who couldn't kind of afford to leave home, and especially the ladies, right, who wanted to work, who have a lot of work experience. And there is a sector which is working on return to work kind of the concepts, and that's only increasing, and that will increase and flourish. lot of roles are going to be taken by them. And yes, so whether they become a part of a gig or there's a different kind of a contract that get formed, which the time will only tell, but there is there is a trend which is talking about it. On our tech side, on productivity, team meeting, prioritizing, information security, so I think that we are very close, and this is what is emerging, and this is what most of you have said around this. And work from home is going to be the reality. 80% feel it is going to be there, and since most of them are decision makers, so I see this really becoming a reality, and this is how we're going to move. And no human asset, right? Again, there is one incident I want to talk to. So a CEO calls me up and say, Praveen, this is a highly manual process, and 1 year I want this to be fully automated. 115 people in the team. I said, I want to operate this process with 15 people. I said, fine. So what do you want to do? I said, I want digitization and automation journey to be accelerated. I said, fair. Uh, Today, 6 years down the line, there had been a lot of investments in automation which is done, which is taking up the additional volume and the load, but the size of the process is still 150. So there is a scalability that comes with the technology, right? But there was a cycle which started long back. It said, I need these people for now, but tomorrow I don't know. And so let me invest in technology and not in people. So I think we call it a state of a transformation imbalance. And as the time passes, everybody is becoming more real, and their actions and decisions are becoming more realistic now that the people matter. It is no longer that, okay, if the bot is coming in, that then you will not need the people. The scalability will require the people. The building of the bot will also come from the people. And the idea is for the business to grow, and if businesses grow, let the bots take up the scalability, let technology take up the scalability. But if we think that we will reach a state where no human asset, then I'm only talking about the fact that number of people can go to the optimal level. But if you think that you'll be able to operate with no human, only time can tell. And again, a disclaimer, I don't know. So on the employee engagement, all of us have witnessed that a lot of things have started emerging. The chat shows, game shows, fitness shows, entertainment shows. In fact, we have the award function which starts at 5:30 today. It's a musical evening, and which I request everybody to join and experience that, how virtually you can have the engagement of employees. We did it last year. We are still experimenting, but I think the feedback that would have been nice. People enjoyed the evening, and so do join and experience it. Any suggestion to us are most welcome. But I think it will lot of the participant who attended it last year said, now I know how to engage my employees. So lot of interventions which will come in there. There are some of the newer startups which have started working on creating gamification for employee engagement. So we will start seeing them. How do we motivate? There are a lot of point-based system, transaction-based, the point-based system, the rewards which employees start earning for the behavior that they have to exhibit, and those technologies are coming in. Technology or non-technology interventions, right? But they are coming in. The employee engagement is going to be the key, and that's what everybody has reiterated. And somebody said it wisely, that it's not engagement, it has to move from an engagement to an experience. The spot award, which used to be when where a workman is operating and the manager or supervisor walks in and say, here, I recognize you, I salute you for the behavior you have demonstrated. Is that still valid? Answer is yes. But the way that need to be done, or that would be done, would change. Celebrations has to continue. Now it is the time where I think we have stabilized. We have taken 1.5 years to come to the state where we are today less worried about operation. Operation is happening remotely. It is the time to ramp up. It is the time to ramp up the engagement. It is time to ramp up the celebration. It is the time to speak to somebody, not just to check whether the work is done or not, but to motivate, but to bring them up to speed, or connect with them with empathy, so that they feel they belong to this place, and that belongingness takes the organization further. And a technology side, there's so many options, like, which is building in. And the trend which is catching up is, if from an economy side also, we see there's a startup which is the startup in the geography that we are in. There are so many. The startup culture is catching up. And if there are so many startup, what are they doing? Many of them are creating products, technology or non-technology products, which will work standalone. WhatsApp was a standalone product. Now it's taken over by Facebook, right? Similarly, there are so many products which will come up. The employee engagement side, especially the gamification side, especially, where we see standalone products. So many which are being created at this stage. So in technology, we will start seeing a lot of standalone product, right? We will see quick learning tool, self-helping tool, and that those are going to be appreciated more than anything, because people do not have a freedom now to sit in the longer hours that we have spent to understand the SAP or the ERP, other Oracle, or any other ERP solutions, right? uh, uh, because those were the tools which innovated, or which changed a lot of aspect, and they brought in the technology to which linked the parts of the organization, and we were new to that space. Now, having learned a lot of those linkages, I would say, between functions, which is possible, and that really help, we may again go into an era where there are going to be an add-on tools that we would use for a specific need. And that's the trend which is catching up. So I